Hello, I'm a gust of wind. This is Into the Toad. Have you ever encountered the unexplainable? When I think about going into the Toad, I think that can sum it up. It's unexplainable. And going into it and then sitting with that experience, changes happen. And for me, when I look around at this world now, it's all unexplainable. Every little detail, the closer I zoom in, the more unexplainable it becomes. What is all this? Where did it come from? What is happening? My friend Katie, who is probably the true pioneer of the toad in my little circle. I don't know anybody who's more fearless and dedicated to the medicine. And all of our conversations start the same way, just what's happening. And we laugh. There'll never be an answer to that question. And that's why it's so funny to us. It's beautiful. It's stupendous. It's it's everything, but it's not explainable. Most of my life was dedicated to understanding, to becoming intelligent, to learning, to thinking, whatever that means. I don't even know what that word means anymore. I try to avoid it. We go from understanding to accepting because once you encounter the unexplainable, you will have two choices: accept or deny. It's as simple as that. There's no other move. There's nothing else. You're at a junction in your human life. And if you're in the medicine, you will try to accept. Well, you will first reject. There will be fear and confusion and disbelief. Nothing makes sense anymore in this place. There is nothing you know that can be related or held on to in any way. The intensity of the experience is one of the unexplainable elements of it. But where you are, what is happening, what you are will forever be unexplainable after that moment. And not everybody takes the toad medicine. Not probably, I don't think everybody should. And I'm sure we'll never come to a point when everybody does. Um, but have you encountered the unexplainable? Have you lived a traditional life? Are you successful? What does that mean? That probably means that you have money and possessions. And along with those two things usually comes a reputation. You have built a name for yourself. I love that phrase because that's what it is. You have to build it, you have to fabricate it. It's made up. And I think if the medicine can offer everybody some healing, that's what it is. It's this acknowledgement that if this place exists where you've been to in the medicine, then everything else is made up unless it comes from God. And there are no, I don't know of any atheists who have taken the medicine. I know of some who have taken it. I don't know of any atheists who have taken it twice. Uh, we're getting into, it's not unexplainable. It's that I can't figure it out. It's unexplainable is that it's your whole life doesn't make sense anymore, and you accept or reject, and that is the linchpin on which your happiness and your success, in my opinion, will hinge. It certainly was for me because I didn't accept. I couldn't. Coming out of the medicine is the emergence. The the ancient Egyptians had three seasons: inundation, emergence, and harvest. Because the Nile River, you could count on it. It's going to flood everything, and in that flood lies complete devastation and death, followed by fruitfulness, followed by this emergence of new life and food to be harvested. And I think it can be applied to the medicine. And everybody's favorite part is going to be the emergence, because the inundation is. I know people have different opinions on it. I don't know anybody who goes into it casually, like just, hey, let's go try it for whatever. I don't. If somebody can do that, I don't understand it. It's a life and death decision. A lot of the healing comes from devastation. It seems to me that the medicine has a first step, and the first step is you, and that's the fabrication. That's the name you built for yourself. That will be dismantled and destroyed in potentially horrendously painful fashion. It is not easy to let that be destroyed, to acknowledge that it's a fabrication. And you can sit there right now and say, yeah, I know it's just a name. It's just, yeah. Well, when you get into medicine, it's not a conversation with yourself in your talking mind. It's your soul acknowledging that it is real and you are not. That is not a simple decision. It's something that must occur through transformation and sometimes under a significant amount of pressure, literally pressure. You will be crushed to death potentially. And it's a real death. This is the big benefit of the medicine is this relationship that you will have with your mortality. It's never going to be the same. And thank God for that, because I don't know what the hell my relationship was with my mortality before I got down this journey and started taking this medicine. But it was unhealthy. I know that. It was wrong. It was fabricated. It was incorrect. Now it's, yes, unexplainable, but I accept it. And it's funny because understanding is supposed to lead you to wisdom, and you're supposed to be intelligent, smart, all these other adjectives that we have, because you've acquired that knowledge, you've learned things. And in my experience, that's just making the fabrication more complex. None of that's real. The entire significant science application to our natural world is based upon a premise of we don't know, because you can't answer the simplest: where did we come from? What is energy? What is all this? How is it all operating? Where is the energy coming from? You can't tell me a mathematical formula that explains that. You may say that you can and have a PhD, and I don't care. It doesn't count. Come in and acknowledge that you don't know anything. You don't know the important answers. And I'm overjoyed to talk about science and learn about science. But sit in your place. Know your role. You don't know anything because You can't. It's unexplainable. And the funny thing that happens when you encounter that unexplainable and the intensity of the medicine, when a decision must be made, it changes your life. And it's not a decision, it's what you're made of. It's your faith. Do you believe or not? You know you're going to die. Do you believe that's okay? Do you think this world around you is bigger than you? Do you think you need to fix it? Do you think it needs you? There's no words required for these questions. You face your maker. It's it's the simplest thing and the most difficult thing. But the funniest thing is you encounter that unexplainable force, this new reality. You accept or reject. If you reject, that means you're holding on. That means you're going to get torn apart. There's no other outcome for you. You're not going to win. You're not going to securely proceed with your convictions after experiencing this. You can delude yourself. You're allowed to do that. There's no harm in it, except maybe when you have your actual death. I imagine you go down the same path as this, and it can be what you make it. You start adding fear into this intensity, you will experience things, and maybe that's the point. It was for me. I had to see how dark things could get before I could accept my nothingness, my complete silliness. That there's anything significant in me at all, ever, is such a laughable joke. And the way I used to carry myself and think about myself and talk about myself, I can laugh about it. But as it unraveled, as I had to chew through all of it, there wasn't a lot of laughter happening. There was a lot of screaming for my dear life and just confusion and flailing about and not knowing anything and being terrified of everything. That was my reality until I just got beaten to death by it, by the toad, and then emerged into complete perfection and beauty, which is what's around me right now, which is unexplainable. You have a new lens with which to see this world, which means no lens. The scales are dropped from your eyes. That's a phrase I think comes from like ancient China, referring to some kind of enlightenment where the eyes see differently now. That's what happens. Just boom, like snapping your fingers. 20 minutes, you go into the medicine, 20 minutes later, you have a new view of this world. It doesn't seem possible that it's this beautiful. It can't, you'll just cry with gratitude and humility. And you may start wondering who the hell that person was who said those things and did those things for all those years, who built that name for themselves, became successful, maybe conniving and cheating and stealing and greedily, selfishly, cruelly taking advantage at every turn. There's a lot of successful people who have chosen that route. You will have to see it and acknowledge it. I don't believe that you can end up in hell. Not that I know, but I feel like I have seen my hell. That has been my journey of having to go through it. And I may have to, Everything I'm saying may be proven wrong tomorrow if I go into the medicine again and find out that I have to, I just got to step one just now. That has happened in the past where I've had experiences where it was just light and beauty for a few times. And then one day I get into the medicine, I come out, and there's no light and beauty. There's just this weight on my soul that, oh no, something's coming. I can't do this again. I'm not ready for this. I thought I was done this. And I go into medicine again and it gets heavier. And I go in again and it gets heavier. And I'm crying and I'm helpless and I'm complaining to Eric that I this is too much and I can't do this. I don't deserve this. And then I go in again and it's a nuclear explosion and it's all perfect again, except now it's even more perfect. And that weight that I felt, I'd been carrying that all along. That wasn't the medicine putting weight on me. That was the medicine allowing me to recognize the weight. And I can continue on this path because I believe that that's what's happening. The medicine heals me. The medicine knows what I need. I do not. I do believe there is some kind of happiness baseline in being a human being. We are entitled to be walking around in pure ecstasy as long as we're not freezing cold, starving to death, injured, being attacked. All those things aside, we're in bliss. That's how we're designed. If you remove all of your fabrication, and don't worry, the medicine will take care of that for you. That's what it does. It's difficult. You won't understand it because it's unexplainable. But your emergence from it, you will know without the need of any external source what is true and what isn't. And you will realize that you've known it all along. And you will hearken back to when you were 4 years old or 5 years old. You may go back, like I did, to the day of your birth. You may be born and hear the first sounds and see the first light that your body ever experienced. You can go back to that. Time doesn't exist. Geography doesn't exist. You are a soul wrapped in a body in this experience, which is unexplainable. But you are permanent and you are capable. And this death that's coming for you, it's not that big of a deal. This is not something that's going to really get in your way. It just happens to be where you are right now. You will survive it. That's what survives the medicine. That's why when I come back just scooped empty, cracked open, I'm just a husk. There's nothing, there's no preconception. There's no personality except what is me, which in my case is just the Joker. I just want to laugh. And that's all. Nothing, none of that can't be taken away. That survives all the medicine. Everything else is gone. And I'm standing there, legs shaking like a newborn with no light, no weight to me anymore. It's just, I'm just channeling this energy. I'm just a thing that's breathing. And I have all these sensors taking in the beauty and the smells and the temperatures and this ability to say thank you. That we are empty at that point and overjoyed at being alive. This the amount of pleasure that is available when you drop your fabrication. It's another unexplainable thing. I can't explain it, but I have spent my life chasing pleasures and I don't have to anymore. This is the only one that works anymore. This is it. I love drinking wine, but if I drink enough wine that I have a little dryness in my mouth and a little bit of sluggishness in my thoughts the next morning, then I stopped. I never drink that much again. I moderate it to prepare for the most amount of pleasure that I can channel. And this pleasure, all of our drugs and distractions, everything from gambling to cocaine to steroids to sex to manipulating the vulnerable people around you to get what you want, all of it is trying to feed this beast. And when you emerge from the medicine, the beast is different. The beast is satisfied for the first time, maybe. And it's funny because all you have to do to get back to it, once you get back into the world, and now you're back into all of the temptation and old habits and ruts that you've dug for yourself in the course of your life, you're going to fall back into that, fall back into this. All you have to do to get back to that satisfied beast and that river of pleasure is nothing. Absolutely nothing. Doing nothing is something you are designed to do. It's the dominant activity for the human, just like it's the dominant activity for the Siberian tiger. It's you're letting the pleasure flow. You're not bored. You're not thinking about tomorrow. You're not worried about yesterday. You're completely alive in this unexplainable place because you have accepted your role in it. You're, you're just here. You're certainly not in charge of anything. I mean, look around you. You may be able to build a ship and go out and kill a whale. That doesn't make you the dominant creature in this place because death is just death. That's just a thing. That's just the next step. How dramatically serious can it be when it's just happening around you all the time to everything that's ever existed? Is it really that insurmountable, scary place? It is for you because you have fabricated something and built a name for yourself. And that is not going to survive this death. And you know it. And you're scared. And I love it when you tell me you're not scared because that you're almost ready. You're really convinced. You're fearless. You're ready for death. You don't need anything. You're this achievement. Great. Perfect. Let me have 20 minutes of your time. Let's go visit the toad. And then let's talk after. Tell me how accomplished you are. You won't be able to explain anything anymore. Imagine the chaotic, frenzied nature of humanity on this planet if nothing could be explained and we all knew it. What would that do to our rhythm? What would that do to the collective energy of our species? You can't explain anything, so you don't have to try, and I don't have to try to listen, and I don't have to worry about not understanding because I've accepted. And once I have accepted the eternal, impossible beauty of life, then all of a sudden I know things. Not the way you know something for your PhD dissertation, more like the way you know when you're thirsty. True knowledge, I believe, only comes from acceptance. It's this everything that I have experienced on this journey is something that the best Hollywood scriptwriter is desperately trying to achieve. It's the dramatic irony and it's the buildup and it's the realizations. The art. As soon as you believe that you understand nothing about this world, about yourself, about what you are, you don't know, but you're starting to, the toad has started to show you what can flow through you, this secret power that comes just from you doing nothing. So you know there's something, but you don't know what it is and you can't explain it even if you did. And all of a sudden, just with that simple realization, you receive knowledge. You start to know that this place is you. This doesn't exist without you, and you don't exist without it. It's all one thing. Your skin is not the border of you. That's an illusion. It's all one great big frenzied energetic thing that cannot be explained. And you realize you don't have to. This urge to understand is driven by your ego because you really don't want to understand. You want to explain it to somebody else. You want the leverage and the power of being the one who knows. And it's hysterical to me that when you finally get it, it can't be explained. That's the joke. And it doesn't matter. Very few things will matter once you encounter intimately the unexplainable force of life. And what can you get worked up over? I mean, you just watch rush hour traffic and you'll giggle like, what? Where are you guys going? Yeah, there's rules to our system. We are really good at creating rules. You're going to pay taxes. You're going to buy your food. You're going to pay someone for your home so you can be comfortable and not freeze to death and not get attacked by bad people. And this is how it's all set up, which is fine. That's just the rules of the game. It's a board game. Where do you want to live on it? What pieces do you want? What's important to you? The first thing the toad will show you is what you're actually afraid of, and that will be getting into yourself, and it will be unpleasant. There's only one way to know what you're afraid of, and it's not by having someone explain it to you. It's by going into it, and you will go into it. This fear that you have that's in your deepest, darkest core of yourself will have to be explored, identified, recognized, acknowledged, and battled. There's no other way to explain it. Eric's the facilitator of the medicine that I know. He's given me every dose of medicine I've ever had. I hope that continues for the rest of my life. And early on, he said there's soldiers prepare for battle and warriors prepare for death. And he didn't offer a lot of explanation. He doesn't use a lot of words, this man. This place I'm talking about, this unexplainable, he lives in it. It's his home. He seems to be most comfortable after administering the medicine when he's helping you through it. And then when you get out of it, and then you two can look each other in the eye and have a conversation, that's where he shines. He's already there. He doesn't know what's happened to you, but he knows what happens from taking the medicine. He knows what it looks like when a human heals. This is what he does. And after hearing that phrase a few times, soldiers prepare for battle, warriors prepare for death. My earliest days started to turn into someone who was receiving some wisdom from the medicine, someone who was starting to realize I don't know anything. I came out of the medicine one time laughing hysterically, and I said, I am a fucking joke. And Eric said, that's the first step to wisdom. Like you're finally getting to step one after having gone all through the ins and the outs of this ridiculous fabrication of yourself. This name you have built is so preposterous and so difficult to untangle. You feel like if you don't have it, you'll die. And that's why you will die in this experience. So are you a soldier preparing for that battle? Or are you a warrior preparing for that end? Because it's coming. You want to be afraid of it? You'll never understand it. So there's no other option. You accept it. Yeah, it's coming and it's okay. Or you reject it. No, I figured it out. This is what I am. And let me tell you about this. And let me tell you about this book I read and this podcast and blah, 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 blah. Who gives a shit? It's coming for all of us. And society will tell you how to behave when your heart gets broken because someone you love dies. It will tell you who to give money to when that happens. There's several people who will line up. Once you get to a certain age, you'll experience that most detestable part of our society. And there's many. But nobody will acknowledge that we don't know what it is and that it's perfect. This level of perfection is what we strive for as an artisan, as a genius, as a craftsman, as a useful human being. Look at the Japanese culture that it just seems to every single little thing in society, someone is turning it into an art form. From just serving tea to somebody to planing a piece of wood to building a wall to building a structure inside nature, comfortable for a human, but not separate, too separate from nature itself. There's a lot of ancient wisdom in that society and in the Chinese society, and it it's probably the Chinese that started it. Taoism and Zen are they talk about the toad. That's what it is. Every religion talks about the toad. The toad is death. The toad is heaven. The toad is God. The toad is your inner light. Everybody's been talking about it for thousands of years. You grow up in America today, and it's all a joke. It's all a scheme. Tax free, raise money, leverage people with this guilt and shame to get what you want, exploit the most innocent and vulnerable people in our society. That's what it's become. And if there was a hell, all you folks practicing it and utilizing it as leverage, that's where you'd be going. And you know it. Alan Watts said if Christians really believed what was in the Bible, they'd be running around screaming their heads off in the streets because they know what's coming for them. Lying bastards. But that's not, in my opinion, how it all shakes out in the end. You will encounter yourself, this name that you've built, it will be dismantled before you leave this place for good. And if my journeys into the medicine, which have been difficult, result in my death being a little bit more pleasant, then mission accomplished. Because I know it's coming and I know the first couple of steps down that path. I know what it's like to leave this awareness of thought and go into this other place that we all possess, the place where decisions are actually being made, the place where your healing, your peace, your love, your power, it all lives there. And there's not even a barrier between you and it. It's right here. It is you, but you're desperately fighting it off with the name that you built for yourself. You don't want to go into that place. It's scary as hell. I will give you that. You will leave everything that you think you know, and you won't want to. But when you emerge from that experience, you emerge from the toad, you are at peace. And I've seen people battling illnesses and things that are very heavy that we would call PTSD, trauma victims. We have all kinds of words for this stuff and medicines and talk therapies for it. And some true warriors show up to the medicine to face that head on, to find their peace. And it's not, just like it wasn't for me, 20 minutes and you're saved. Hallelujah. It's 20 minutes of hell. Here's a glimpse of what you really are. Here's how good you can feel all the time. Now it's going to wear off and you have a choice to make. What are you going to do next? It was impossible for me to leave it, to just leave this path after having seen what I saw the very first experience for me, which was just a whiteout. It was just the entire world exploded around me. And I came back to it in some physical discomfort and disorder, disarray, discombobulation. Holy shit, what happened? And there was Eric gently patting me on the back as I spasmed around, spitting up all on the floor on the prayer mat. And he said, just breathe, my friend. Just breathe. Let go of a lot of shit. And I had seen enough to know that my life changed forever. I cannot go back to what I was. It's not possible because I had been looking for this somehow my entire life. This true knowledge. It seemed available to me, even though I didn't possess any of it. But what I was shown was that there was more to me than I knew, a whole lot more, and a lot of good stuff. And all I had to do was face my biggest fear and die to start to see it. And in my emergence, that seemed like a reasonable deal. It still does. I hope to, when I go into the medicine, to return to this place, this beauty and magic all around me. I mean, really sit down with yourself and think about letting go of all this forever. Forever. Don't worry about where you're going. Just think about losing all this. A lot of people contemplating suicide get to that and they don't. I'm one of them. I was hanging over that railing, 150 feet up, nudging my waist closer to the edge, just thinking it's just so easy. I don't want to do this anymore. The misery that I was in, the world that that I thought was doing something to me unfairly, unjustly, which now I realize was the world I created for myself. There was no other human beings involved in this equation at all. I am responding to things and I am making decisions all day long, and I'm pretending that I'm not. So even in that misery, getting to the final moment, I didn't want to let go of this. I remembered good things. I knew people cared about me. I had to write letters to them before I got this far, and some of those letters I couldn't finish. I didn't know how to explain my action. And then I go into the medicine not long after that. I mean, I was a mess walking up that hill, shaking, sweating, bawling my eyes out, right at the end of what I thought I was. Just a charred husk of the promise that I was when I entered this world. Beat down, beat up, sapped of energy, no hope. And it was all a joke. It was that part was solved in there. You can't even calculate the amount of time. It was as soon as you start to inhale the medicine, you start to travel. Science will never be able to explain how quickly this occurs. You start to inhale, you start to leave. And your goal is to take the biggest breath you can and to never exhale. That's the only thing you really have to do. And if you can't do that, Eric's there and he won't let you exhale. You try, if he's close to you, he'll stop you. Put his hand over your nose and mouth and keep that medicine in to do what's good for you. The reason you showed up, you will have a tendency maybe to show up and say, "Well, I just want a little bit. I don't need to go all in. I'm kind of, I just getting here was hard enough." Well, it is. That's the hardest part. Once you're there, well, then you're going in. That's why we're here. That's the whole thing. This facing the fear and the unknown and the unknowable is kind of what the medicine is. At this point, I can plan to go take the medicine and I can feel it in me weeks before I take it. It's coming because it's me. I have decided to go in again. I have decided I need to heal. I've decided I am brave enough to prepare for death. And it's a lot of mental noise and anxiety and blah, 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 blah. But that's kind of happening in the arena below me a little bit. I still feel it. I am in that energy. It's unpleasant, but it's not making the decisions for me. I'll drag that shit up the hill if I have to because of the rewards, because of knowing that the unknowable is the truth. If you get a glimpse of truth in this life, you will be transformed. And I mean that you will have optimism, you will also have vitality and vibrance and health and flexibility. Your muscles and joints will wake up. Your whole system gets rebooted. And I don't care how old you are, how fat you are, whatever. You have no idea how much power can come into you at any moment. The ailments that can be cured from the medicine are all the ailments. And I'm not saying everybody has a terminal illness can go and get cured. That's not what I mean. But I think with the right application and determination, you can be healed of anything. Because the shit that I got healed from, there wasn't a doctor on planet Earth who was going to be able to heal me. That's a fact. Miracles are going to happen. It's all magic and it's all unexplainable. This is reality. And the first words Eric said to me when he packed the medicine into that glass bulb that first day was you are about to experience reality. And he doesn't say any wasted words. There's never any flowery adjectives or small talk. He said it for a reason. Just like when my darkest days coming out after a series of trips that had been the most difficult experience in my existence, he sat down in front of me before packing that last one and said, "There's nothing wrong with you. I think you need to hear that before you go in. There is nothing wrong with me. There never was. And there's nothing wrong with you. But you are suffering under a delusion that you understand this life and that you understand what you are and that you think you know reality. You do not. You have no concept of what is actually happening right now. None. All the things that are in your mind that are priorities and concerns and sapping your energy, none of that's real. None of it except the love. The love is real. What you feel for the people that you love, that will survive unscathed. In fact, that will be bolstered by your dropping of the bullshit. When I came out scooped hollow, legs quivering, I was love. That's what I was, that's what's available to me. That's what I can give to you. And if I do, it magnifies and pours back over me. There's nothing else. This is another dramatic trick that Hollywood would love to create on its own. How does that happen? The poets talk about it for have talked about it for thousands of years, and it's a shame that some of these things are cliche in our jaded, cynical world. It's because the words are cliche. The notion is cliche. When you feel it, there's no such thing as cliche. You will be in direct contact with your reality, with your true self, with your mortality. You are it now in your emergence, and the words don't matter anymore. You will realize that what you feel is what you are. And you have been trying not to feel since they started yelling at you in nursery school because you weren't following the rules. Feeling is what we are in this place. There's a story about the gods getting together for a dinner party, and the one god saying he's just going to go out on an adventure. He's going to go exploring, and the other gods were laughing at him. What for? We're the gods. We have everything, and we know everything. He didn't listen, and he decided to go on his adventure anyway. And he was gone a long time. And when he finally came back, he was elated, illuminated. He said, I found a place where you can experience suffering. I found a place where you can experience fear and guilt and shame. It's amazing. It feels real. That's where we are. We're making it real. And it ain't. There's a baseline for being human. And it's the same baseline for being a butterfly or a Siberian tiger or an orca or a squirrel or an oak tree or a fungus or Mount Everest. It's bliss. That's what you're entitled to. Now, There's not a lot of purpose in sustained bliss. So you're gonna get dramatic with it. The first thing you're gonna do is pretend that you're not entitled to it. That's for somebody else. And you're gonna go down this path of building a name for yourself. And in doing, you're gonna be neck deep in all of these things that we call suffering and stress and pain and fear and greed and lust. And now you're just swimming in these things and you can't control them and you can't even control yourself anymore. And it's just all so confusing. And now you've made decisions that you know you should not have made. There's a compass inside you on what's good and what's bad, and you lost sight of that a long time ago. And what does that mean for your soul? What does that mean for your ability to love? What does that mean for the kind of parent you are to those children? And it's all made up. The whole thing's been a dramatic play, a masquerade. You built that name for yourself and you put on the mask that everyone can identify with as that's that person. They told me who they are and I can see them. You go into the medicine, the masks come off. The construct cannot survive the intensity of this cosmic journey you're about to embark on at light speed. Nothing survives it except what survives everything and your love, which might be the same thing. Some people call the toad medicine the love medicine. And in my experience, that's what happens. You fall in love, not with anything or anyone. You're just in love. That is your default state. That's the power. That's the secret. It's never ending. It just flows and flows, and the more you give it out, the faster it flows in. That's life. I tried to explain that in a text message to Eric one time about this place that I found. I am so happy and overjoyed and grateful, and everything is so bright and vibrant that I just sit and look at it, and I can't speak. And I went on and on and on, and he just replied, "It's like, yeah, it's called life. That's what it is." I still want to complicate things. I am a novice to everything. I am here talking about this not as an expert on anything. It's just the experiences that I've had with the unexplainable thing. How could I be an expert? The first thing I'm saying is it's unexplainable. I can't explain it, but I can tell you my journey from the darkness to the light, from the explained to the magical. It's all magic. What do you think is going to happen when you die? You think this is all a fluke? Do you want to know what you're really made of? I mean, this is the stuff we were talking about when we were little kids. And the people telling you about, thought maybe they were thinking you're going to be a doctor or a lawyer or an engineer. That ain't what you're made of. that's, that's more fabrication. The more schooling people have, the more medicine they need. The ruts you have dug for yourself and this conviction that you are correct on anything is a river of shit you're going to have to swim through. There's no other way. There will be one conviction left. I don't know. I can't explain it, but I see its perfection. I see its beauty, and wow, am I grateful. And boy, oh boy, am I going to get into something. I am going to go after this game, and I'm going to squeeze some fun and joy out of this place. Everyone's oblivious to it. It's all available. It's all right here. All of it. Everything you could ever want is right here in complete abundance, never ending quantities. Nothing will ever run out. What do you want? The transformation that happened in me when I realized what I wanted is like becoming a new human being, which happens quite a bit in my world. Have you ever encountered the unexplainable in your life? I think if you're honest with yourself, you have seen some things that can't be explained. What did they do to you? Did you change? Why not? Did you fight off that change? Did you explain away that beauty and that magic? This notion of changing, significant, fundamental change is another accept or reject. You, you can't have it both ways here. You are an ever evolving, amorphous creature being constantly stimulated and adapting and flowing with the circumstance around you. And you think you're fixed. You think that your mask is real, that the name you built for yourself that you spent decades building is what's real. And to keep that reality, all of your psychic energy is spent on maintaining the illusion. All of it, which is why you have heart failure and obesity and diabetes and depression and anxiety, and you can't sleep at night, so you strap some mask to your face to rest. How can we all accept that this is just what human life is? It isn't. And all this healing power and energy is just flowing freely, constantly. And you're blocking it. And the pills are blocking it. And this conviction that going to that church and giving that money to an institution that does what it does is blocking it. Encountering the unexplainable is a life changing event. That's a big word, big phrase, life changing event, because we don't think that we change. A life changing event happens once in a lifetime. That's not true. It happens all day long. Open your eyes and accept it. Stop whatever you're doing, all of it. Stop all of it. Don't do anything, nothing. Don't even breathe. That actually happens on its own. How does that work? What's telling you to breathe? How is that regulated? Do you think there's someone with a joystick and a remote location making sure that your gallbladder works? I mean, is that what you think? There's somebody else controlling your bodily functions and your organs and your vitality. It's coming from somewhere else. Talk about an illusion. You're here. It's all for you. Walk around in a cloud of denial. Refute the reality around you and get sick and get weak and get tired and die. Or know that it's all unexplainable, accept that it's unexplainable and accept the knowledge that comes with that. It's perfect. It's okay. I'm okay. There are no consequences to anything, and die. Up to you. Up to you.